Well, as you see, I decided to brave the bitter cold out here, the snow, the ice and the wind, just to have a different background. This week we're looking at number 10, Mission to the Unreached, part 1. Next time we'll do part 2 as part of our series on God's mission, my mission. And this is the whole idea of going out beyond our own circle, our own community, our own culture even. And this is very interesting. We give material in Acts, Corinthians and Romans, really thinking about Paul's experience, those many challenges that Paul, the apostle to the Gentiles, faced. The Gentiles, foreigners, people not part of his culture. And here we have to recognize that if we really are serious in taking the gospel to the world, we have to go beyond our own experience, our own culture, our own understandings of how life is and how things work. We have to operate in a whole different environment. He was the first missionary who had to deal with the challenge of sharing the gospel in a different culture from where he came. And they're very valuable lessons, these missionary journeys. I urge you to go and look through Paul's experiences, recorded there particularly in Acts, as to how he did things, because he had to deal with different peoples who had different backgrounds, different beliefs. At least if you were back there in Israel, you could assume the background of the Old Testament and so on. But these are people who worshipped Jupiter and Zeus and I don't know what. So he had to deal with a very different kind of experience. And it's very interesting when he got to Athens, you remember that experience, his speech on Mars Hill, the Areopagus, let me say it right. And there he tried to use what he thought were ways that would intrigue the people by referencing some things that he knew about their background, but not so successful, you could say. Only a few people responded. And I think from then on he decided, no, I'm just going to tell it as I know it and do the best I can, while of course I'm sure having to recognize the different belief backgrounds, sensibilities that the people he was dealing with. You can't really switch things around. I mean, and this is what's happened all through Christianity. Sometimes people with best intentions, I'm sure, have tried to merge it with the beliefs of the people around, the pagan ideas, and Christianity has ended up being quite a mix of these different Greek, Roman, other beliefs, because they've been brought into different churches as a way of making it, quotes, easier for people to respond, maybe. I don't know. But the point is that we have to think about how we're going to reach the unreached peoples. Think of not just methodologies and programs, but how do I get in touch with these people? How do I experience things as they do, as a way of reaching out to them and saying, yeah, I know, I understand, I know what your kind of background is and what you're going through, and here is how I think my belief in Jesus helps you to do just that. Jesus, though he was sent to the lost sheep of Israel, as he says, had time for these foreigners. You remember the centurion, you remember the Canaanite woman, you remember the Samaritan woman at the well. In fact, some of the best stories we get from Jesus' life are dealing with these foreigners, quote, who had a very different kind of background, and yet he led them to a trusting faith in him so that they were able to experience the blessings too. And I love that commendation of the centurion when he says, I haven't even found faith like this even in Israel, let alone in this centurion who comes from a very different background. So there's encouragement for us as we try and reach the unreached, and that can be anybody. Wherever we are in society, we are dealing with people who are different from us, who've come from different places, who have different backgrounds, who have different belief systems. So let's take the chance. We don't have to go to foreign countries, right here where we are. we can have a mission to the unreached, the peoples who don't know about the Lord that we do. May we rightly witness and represent him, is my prayer.